Today we have with us Mike Duffy, who is a Canadian senator and former Canadian broadcast journalist. Prior to his appointment to the Canadian Senate, he was the Ottawa editor for QTV News, and he also had his own show called The Mike Duffy Live. And on December 22nd, 2008, Duffy was named Prince Edward Island representative to the Senate of Canada on the recommendation of Prime Minister Stephen Harper. Mr. Duffy sits in the Senate as a Conservative, representing Prince Edward Island. So prior to your appointment to the Senate, you worked as a journalist on Parliament Hill for CBC and CTV News. How has your long career in journalism helped impact your experience in Canadian Senate?
Well, after 30-some years on the Hill as a journalist, I think I had a bit of an idea of how government operated and how you could use your position in the Senate to help out Prince Edward Island. You get an opportunity every week at caucus to personally lobby, I'm a lobbyist for PEI, to say to ministers, for example, on higher education, our community college in PEI had applied along with hundreds of others from across the country for a grant to improve their facilities. And I was able to go and say, personally, tell the ministers, look, we meet all the criteria, just because we're a little PEI, we shouldn't be at the bottom of the pile. And please make sure we get fair consideration. And so I was, because of that, and because the college had an excellent application, we got $10.5 million. Now we have a minister from PEI, but she is very busy pushing all kinds of issues and files and dealing with her own cabinet responsibilities. So as someone without all of that workload, I'm able to look at specific programs or projects that people have in mind and to, sort of carry the ball for them in trying to get the federal government involved. It's very rewarding, and it gives you a sense that you're giving back to the community.
That's great, that's great. And on that note, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Canadian youth voter turnout, which has declined, by a vast amount over the past few years. So what advice do you have for young Canadians who are trying to get involved in politics?
Get involved is the most important thing. Politics is fun, but unlike sports, which is fun, I'm not saying don't exercise. After all, exercise is very important. We can see that. But what I'm saying is those who watch sports, you go into a campus pub or whatever, and all these eyes are riveted on a football or hockey game and so on. That's great fun, but whoever wins doesn't affect the way the country's government, or doesn't affect the lives of Canadians. What politics does, it has all the excitement of sports, and it means at the end of the day at an election, you actually change the way Canada's governed. You help build a better Canada. Let me explain. You got your red team, your Liberals, your blue team, your Tories, your orange team, your New Democrats, your green team, the Greens, and other assorted smaller parties. They all have their stars, and they have their strategies of how they're going to sell their message to the voters. And so you go along in the run up to it all, and you're playing the game, each one trying to get a little bit ahead of the other. And then on election day, you have the big final clash. It's like the Super Bowl of politics. All of the teams get on the field, and at the end of the day, you have one champion. And so for young people, it's fun, it's exciting, it's exhilarating even. And at the end of the day, you get to say, hey, my team won, and we're going to be able to change the world. And even if your team doesn't win, you will be able to say, I advanced certain ideas, or we advanced ideas that I believe in to make for a better Canada. So I think that getting involved in politics, particularly at a young age, is a fantastic thing. And it's a great social thing too, because like any team, you kind of work together towards a common goal. You get to meet people and make friends that'll last a lifetime.
In 2010, you were noted as commenting that perhaps post-secondary journalism programs in Canada are highly critical of political infrastructure. How do you think the relationship between journalists and politicians has changed since your career may have begun?
Well, I've been reading Google again. And, of course, they take a little bit out of context. I don't think journalism school is necessarily made for successful journalists. Alan Fotheringham has just written a book. He's one of the most successful journalists in the country. He didn't go to J school. I didn't go to J school. Peter Mansbridge didn't go to J school. So I think what is important is that journalists have a broad education, a broad liberal arts education at a great institution like Queen's. My father was a student here in the early 30s. And of course he disgraced himself because he left Queen's and then continued his studies at McGill, which I know is a cardinal sin in this country. But I think journalists have to understand that their job is not to change the world. That's what people are elected for. And we have a lot of big problems facing Canada. We're in a very precarious economic position. And what's the big story last week? John Baird wants gold ink on his business cards. Now, to me, it's all a tempest in a $400 printing bill teapot. When we have got two wars underway, we've got the economy in a very difficult position. We've got the 2014 health report coming out. All the opposition has to complain about is John Baird's penchant for gold ink on his business card. I think it's pretty good government that has that all British can dredge out to talk about.
Okay. Well, on that note, I'm going to end the interview. Sadly, I would love to continue to talk to you a little bit more. It's always great to hear the wise words of a politician who is also a journalist. So thank you so much for being with us today, and good luck.
Thank you.
And we look forward to hearing from you soon.
Thank you very much, and I hope your viewers take it to heart. Getting involved in politics is not only a noble aspiration, but it's lots of fun.
All right. Get involved, guys. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.